I thought it was a good idea for me to, first of all, let you guys see my face, hear my voice up close. And it's gonna be a weird thing for me talking to the camera. So I'm just gonna look behind the camera, look around just while I'm gathering my thoughts. I'm acting as if there was a person behind the camera that they're listening to me while I'm talking. So hopefully that works for everyone that's watching. So I wanted to explain, at least for me, what my motivation is in starting these videos. I've only done a few up to this point. So it's something that I decided to do after having seen a bunch of other content creators, the way that they make their videos and stuff like that. I had the realization that if I'm spending time researching through their videos, researching ways to improve myself, I can't imagine the countless numbers of people that are doing that in other parts of the world, other parts of the country, even in my local area, who knows. And so I decided that that I should put myself out there, knowing that other people and their actions have motivated me, that I could help by motivating other people. Because something about seeing someone else struggle, or someone going through something similar as you are going through, it's actually very helpful in terms of putting everything into context and putting everything in its proper order. Knowing that you have to struggle first before you can see success, before you can prosper, it brings a lot of peace to your work ethic, knowing that not everything's going to go perfectly well, and it will never go perfectly well. It's good to, when you can see someone after they've made progress, it's good to see them struggle and continue to struggle. It's comforting in a way to know that we all struggle, and that at some point we're going to see results from that struggle. We're never going to be done with this struggle, and it won't ever go away. But the promise is that it will all get better anyway. So hopefully that explains at least a little bit as to why I'm making these videos. I've never made videos before. I've never been someone to think of myself as that kind of example. You know, there's other things about me that that no one else on YouTube or anywhere else will ever know, unless you're really close to me. So hopefully through the little that you can see me, the little of what I say and what I show can be of some use. And so if you're someone that has been thinking about these same thoughts, have had similar experiences of being motivated by other people's content, then I invite you just to think about it. Maybe do it yourself. All I did was just buy a tripod. I already had everything else, had this weight set up in my garage, and so I decided to go for it. And wherever it goes, that's how it'll go. And it's something that I don't have to rely on anyone else to do. I can do it all on my own, and I can do it as long and as hard as I want to. I can go for hours recording, or I can only record a 10-minute workout. No one is perfect, but we can't forget that is the goal. The goal is to strive for becoming better until we're perfect. And I believe that to be true. Maybe it's not true for everyone, but it's true for me. And I believe that I can make it if I keep pushing myself. And if I find struggles along the way, it's not a big deal. Everyone has those, and so it's not about what adversity you face in life. It's all about how you respond to adversity, and that's the key to success and happiness. So anyway, I'm gonna edit this and make sure that you can see all my workout stuff, and I'll comment over that too. But hopefully this will start something good. Hopefully other people will catch on, and we'll all see improvements together. So yeah. All right, so here I am. I'm going to start warming up for some front squats. It's something that I've been practicing for the last month or so, and it's something that I love doing as a, what do you say, kind of like a buoyant to my back squat. So I have this belief that if you're doing one movement and you do some sort of alternative of the movement, that you'll work different muscles. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. My best guess is that there's way more muscles in the body than what we account for when we say like bicep or tricep. Each one of those is just a muscle group that we gave one name to, but really each part of your body has tons of different muscles connected to it. So So my hypothesis is just that when you do a back squat, you're working certain muscles, and when you do a front squat, you're overall you're working the same muscles, but you stress or put more strain on certain muscles, depending on which movement you do. So anyway, one thing I realized just barely was that, like here in the video, was that I should probably set the bar up a little bit lower. When you're doing a back squat, you put it on top of your back, right? And so when you do it on the front squat, I think it sits just slightly lower. So I made sure to lower the bar to make it easier for myself. Anyway, so front squatting is something that I think is beneficial for that lower back strength that I'm trying to work on. It also promotes core stability. So one thing about your core and your I consider lower back to be part of your core, just because the core is suggesting something towards the center, right? And so your core is anatomically, it's supposed to, is that how you say it? Anatomically, or in your anatomy, your core is designed to protect your spine. So your rib cage extends down to cover your heart, and your lungs and all those important organs inside, but below that there's nothing but soft tissue. And so to protect your spine, which is the most important part of your body, which connects to your brain and your nervous system, your core is there to, and its function is to resist bending or contorting or anything that can damage those internal parts of your body that are so important. And so in my mind, in my opinion, the best way to train your core is by loading it with extreme tension, and resisting the movement, which is exactly what a squat is. You do any kind of movement and your core is resisting the collapsing of your frame, which would definitely mess you up. So I think it's more important to develop that functional strength in your core than to do anything else. A lot of people think of sit-ups or doing other ab exercises to strengthen your core, and like while strength is a component of the results that you'll see, really all those exercises, at least to me, are some form of bodybuilding. And what I think people fail to understand is that bodybuilding is not a strength building type of fitness. It's the goal of bodybuilding is to inflate your muscles, basically. So while you will gain some strength just naturally through the movements, through the increased size of your muscles, the biggest change in your body is not gaining strength. It's actually that the muscles become juicier in a way. So you're pumping more blood into the muscles, and you're pumping more of different kinds of fluids. Like, I wouldn't know all the terms and things like that. I'm no expert, but I've heard of things called like glycogen storage and other things like that. And it seems to me like when you do bodybuilding, which is hypertrophy training, you're trying to push as much fluid into the muscles as possible, and after your muscles grow accustomed to that, then they grow bigger and bigger in order to store more of that of those fluids. And that's why when you look at bodybuilders, their bodies may look defined, but to me they don't look very compact, as in like able to resist all the tension, as I was talking about, which in my mind is strength. A strong muscle is a muscle that contracts tightly and that is able to resist tension. Anyway, so that was just a little tangent, but here I am working my way up. I put some 25s on the bar and still doing the front squats. And one thing I noticed, at least for me, is that I lack the wrist flexibility to, like, I guess to hold it the way I've seen other people do it on YouTube. I'm trying it here, I think, but I noticed that it was just putting too much strain on my wrist. So I tried a few different things because I'm still learning how to do the front squat. But one thing I did was that I rotated my wrist so that I could put hook my thumb under the bar, and then keep my arm over the top. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So anyway, I kind of cut my hand a little bit and then pulled my thumb back, hook the thumb under the bar, put my other fingers almost like a Lego hand, I guess, and just held the bar like that with my elbows up. Another thing I tried was completely turning my wrist over and hooking all four of my fingers up over the top of the bar and keeping my elbow up. I did a few different things just to see what felt the best. really the only important thing is that the bar stays on top of your shoulders. If the bar rolls forward, you're gonna have to use the wrong parts of your body in order to support the weight. And so the goal is to keep it up and tight, so that way it's still a squat and you're not just lifting it up with your back. Anyway, another thing I wanted to do here is I decided to record this voice recording over the duration of the unedited video. I want to see before I clip and before I edit. I want to see what stuff comes to mind, because one thing that's been fun for me is kind of seeing where my mind goes and what kind of subjects I bring up while I'm talking. And the hard part of this is that I can't really see. I don't know when I'm at the end until the video ends, and I'm using the what's it called, the iMovie application on the iPhone. And the way it works is that I just see the screen kind of moving past me, and I'm seeing all the frames and all these things, but I can't see a time on it, so I'm not really sure. There's no timestamp to indicate when the video's over. Anyway, so just to let my mind wander and give myself more freedom to speak, I kind of let it go, and I'm gonna edit it after if I see it needs any editing. I think the best thing for anyone watching is to see everything, not to see some sort of edited version of my workout, but to see everything. Today was actually relatively quick. I didn't feel my body needed to go super heavy today, so I just did some light loading, and I decided to just go through a bunch of different motions and movements, just to practice and to learn how they feel and everything. Here, I decided I wanted to work on my shoulder mobility. It's something I've noticed over a long time, over the course of time, that my shoulders are weak. And so while I can press some considerable weight, oh no, I got ahead of myself. So here I'm still doing the front squat, and you see how I was trying to describe how I changed the grip. I hooked my hands over the top of the bar. I was still repping it out here just because I felt that I should like focus on like not necessarily doing it with correct form, because I'm still learning what that is, but basically putting my body through the motion and feeling what are the different muscles that are being engaged and what other things should I focus on to keep my alignment and all these things. Weightlifting, I think, is something that at the beginning you can't just be mindless about it. You have to be super focused. I don't know if at any point when you get advanced that it just turns into muscle memory. I'm not sure, but I myself, I have to do my best, and it's a battle for sure, but I have to keep myself locked in order to maximize each thing. So here I had to go get my AirPods and make sure that they were charged before I had to come in and record this audio. Yeah, so anyway, I did have to edit. I'm gonna have to edit that later, but anyway, so here we're back to the front squat. I think this is the heaviest I went today, just 45s. In the past month, I've tried a couple times to push some weight, and I think I've gone up to like 45s and 25s on the front squat, which is, let's see if I can do the math quickly, 275. And while I can push the weight, I felt it's more beneficial to, like, neurologically, to learn the movement and to contract the muscles in the right way, instead of just like using mechanical leverage to lift the weight. So I guess that's another thing I've been thinking about recently is, what is the difference between your muscles having strength and your body being mechanically efficient? And so I think I mentioned in the last video, but your body and your brain work together to find the best way, not the most effective, but the most efficient. And that, I guess I mean, effective would be like the most effective way of lifting weights is by putting your body in the most uncomfortable or the weakest position possible, and then lifting to strengthen that. Efficiency is where you put your body in the strongest position in order to exert the least amount of force possible. And so your brain and your body are very adept and work together in order to find the most efficient way to lift, not the most effective. And so here I wanted to do, I think this is called an overhead squat, to work on my shoulder mobility. That's what I was trying to get at earlier, and I wasn't sure where we were at in the video, but here I'm working on my overhead squat. My shoulder rotation is pretty bad, and I can tell that my rear delts are kind of weak, and just because of the fact that the weight's wobbling, I'm literally only holding the bar, And as I squat, I literally feel like I'm going to fall over. And so I needed to force myself into the right position. And that's the effectiveness of lifting, is pushing yourself into a weak position in order to make it stronger. And what your body will do is that your body will develop mechanical kind of improvisations, and it will make kind of like these little tricks in your body's alignment, so that you can lift with the most efficient effort instead of the most effective, because your body is not trying to compromise itself by targeting by letting the weak muscles be targeted. So the best way to counteract this, like I said in the last video, is that you lift with lighter weight, and full range of motion is the most important thing. And so I think this is one place where people get confused between bodybuilding and strength lifting, or whatever you want to call it. Is that people want to focus on, in bodybuilding, people want to focus on full range of motion, and that makes no sense whatsoever. If you look at your anatomy, like I said, you'll see that different muscle groups have many different muscles connected to each joint, each part of your body, each limb. And so when you go full range of motion, you're actually targeting several different muscles at once. The focus of bodybuilding is to use different accessory lifts to target specific muscles or muscle groups, but in a specific way, so that all of the force, or as much of it, can be targeted on a small group of muscles instead of all the muscles at once. And the biggest place I see that is in when you're training small body parts. Like, people want to train arms and do full range of motion. And I've found out for myself, because I've tried doing bodybuilding lifts, and I found that like the best way to train your smaller muscle groups is actually through the limited range of motion, by targeting only the specific muscles. Anyway, I'm going to come back to this overhead squat. And so looking at my form, you can tell how I want to fall over to forwards, right? So one thing I was focusing on, I felt like as long as I kept my head forward and pinched my shoulder blades and retracted them, that I was going to stay upright. And so I'm pushing my head forward and pulling my shoulder blades back, doing my best. On that one, the bar started slipping back, actually, so I had to stand up. This is such an interesting movement, because if I was standing up straight and I could put my shoulders up like that, I would be able to hold more weight. But as soon as I start squatting, the depth actually makes my shoulders less stable. And so I'm not sure if it has anything to do with with my back being the part of my body that connects my shoulders to my hips. Maybe as my back and the lower back muscles are lengthened, maybe it kind of creates an effect where it tugs at the shoulders and gives it less support, maybe. And so because I'm targeting two different groups at the same time, one of them, or actually maybe both, are weaker inherently, just because they're both connected and they both draw support from the same muscle group. That might be a reason why. Anyway, so moving on here, I was actually only planning on doing the overhead squat and then finishing, but then I kind of felt like I should just work on like this little rack pull thing. So my setup right now, that placement of like the whatever support that is that I'm using resting the bar on, is kind of too high for this, but I was gonna do my best to just lean over the bar and just slowly like contract and pull the weight up towards my chest, just to test my back strength. This wasn't any kind of exercise like to work out my back. It was kind of just to test and see where I'm at. So I slapped some 35s on the bar here. And what you'll see as I do the first set is that, because I just warmed up with the bar, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I'm not even looking at the screen at this point. I'm just kind of looking around the room talking. But yeah, I'm totally upright, just like yesterday. My lower back is totally taken out of the movement. And this is, like I said, is a neurological adaptation. My body does not want my lower back to be in a compromised situation. That's why it needs to be stronger. And so anyway, I realize that I'm lifting kind of sus right now, lifting like as if I don't want to lift. So anyway, so I have to readjust mentally, Gotta get back over the bar, and I need to make sure that my chest is pointed towards the ground as much as possible. I know the range of motion is pretty short, and that's one reason why I kind of stood up, is because the bars are already too high off the ground. But I didn't really want to bend over all the way this time, because I'm trying to test my back strength. And when you leave the bar on the ground, you just use your legs to kind of get it up higher, and then you use your back at the end. So might as well lift it up higher anyway. So anyway, yeah, gotta lean over the bar, make sure that my back is closer to parallel. And as I'm pulling, I can totally feel this like pulling on my hamstrings. And so the reason why, at least my explanation, and I'm not sure if this is correct, is that my hamstrings are the more developed part of my body, and because they're more developed, my brain is allowing that muscle group to resist the weight more than my back is. And yeah, so I think it's illogical to assume that because I feel it in my hamstrings, that my hamstrings are the weak muscle. I think it's because they are stronger that they're doing the work. And so anyway, that doesn't mean that my back wasn't doing any work. And so I kept that form, just because I knew that at least a little bit of my back was being worked. So I'm taking the weight off the bar. I might be going for the 45s now, I think. We'll see. So anyway, I started off my day actually kind of slow today. I'm on break, or at least my family is on break, and it's almost Christmas time. And so waking up late, kind of having the freedom to go about doing whatever. So I woke up, and one thing I try and do is I try not to eat food until I've worked out. But that's only on the condition that that I ate the day before or the night before, because I need that energy in my body. But what you'll find, I think, is that if you eat food like right before your workout or even 1 or 2 hours before, your body does not have adequate time to digest the food, and so it'll actually impact your performance, and it'll make you worse through your workout. So you either have to eat 6 hours or more in advance, or wait until after your workout to eat. So here I decided to get some mind muscle connection with my biceps. This is my science lab. I'm doing an experiment on myself. Every day I'm just trying to feel things out, because I'm nowhere near that expert level where I'll just know exactly what to do. So I was doing some bicep curls, and that was just to warm me up, because I actually hate doing biceps with both arms at once. I love the unilateral work where I only do one side at a time. So one thing with biceps that no one seems to talk about is that biceps are a really small muscle group. And so this is me personally, but the more I've thought about it, as I flex my arms and things like that, it seems that my biceps only do half of the contraction. So when I pull my arm up to about 90 degrees, that's as far as my biceps are actually working. I've noticed that in the past that when I curl heavy and when I curl at full range of motion, that my shoulders, my front delts, are just absolutely screaming. And that's because they're doing the work from 90 degrees to the top is when your shoulders start to engage. And so what I've learned, and you won't see it right now because I haven't conditioned my arms in a little bit, because I'm not focused on that right now. I'm focused on my lower back and my back, or no, sorry, my legs and my lower back. I used to have bigger arms, and it was really easy because arms are just a small muscle group. I would do a lighter weight and just rep in the 50, 60, 70 rep range until my arms started burning. And then I would kind of increase the weight a little bit and do a few sets like that, and do it like up to maybe 10 sets, literally just like standing there at the cable machine. And over the course of like 1 or 2 months, my arms blew up. It was insane. But I kind of realized that that I didn't really want that. I didn't want that aesthetic. I would rather have strength than aesthetic. And I know that that's not the same for everyone. And I'm not here to tell you what your goals should be. I'm just saying for me personally that I wanted strength. But I do agree, though, that it's important to train all your body parts. So even though I'm not focusing on arms, every once in a while I do want to hit them to make sure that they're still maintaining that connection to my brain. And so even though this is literally only 10 pounds, I'm repping it out just so that I can feel my arms and feel the blood going and all these things. And so one thing too is that if you are someone that can't do a pull-up, or you're trying to, one thing that does help is improving your arms and your strength in your arms. So pull-ups are something that I think is one of the most important. Not one of the. It's not as important as squatting, I think, and at least in my mind. But pull-ups are one of the most important functional movements that you can do. And so, I think it's important to understand that a pull-up is it's almost a full body movement. It's like all of your upper body combined. So it works your backs, your arms, shoulders, and chest, and your core. It's literally all of that in one. And so, if you're looking to do your first pull-up, what I would recommend is targeting all of those parts of your body individually, and then practice it, and like not at the same time, but like after you've strengthened those parts of your body, practice just hanging from the bar, practice your grip strength, practice pulling up yourself up like as hard as you can. But the best part is, or the best thing to do is to work out each thing individually. And so I used to do this a lot. I used to like work out my arms, like specifically my biceps, for a whole workout. And then over the course of weeks, I would like move to different parts of my body, do back exercises, shoulder exercises, chest exercises, and then I was able to complete pull-ups without too much of a problem. So I can do like one or two now, and it's really been an amazing thing to see. Once you make progress and have one achievement, it really just revs your engine. You really want to keep going, see what else you can do. So anyway, that's enough for today. That was the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and tomorrow I'll be back.